Welcome to the Viral Solutions Podcast. Today's topic: which is best for marketing budgets? Using an advertising to sales ratio or zero-based budgeting? Question: as a leader of your organization, what's your goal? To grow beyond where you currently are? Right? You want to know what lies ahead, how to plan for an ever-changing market. At some point, you'll need to make a serious look at a marketing budget. And by serious, I mean just not arbitrarily looking in the rearview mirror to determine what lies on the road ahead, but instead having a vision as to where you want to go and developing a sound marketing strategy that will get you there. Of course, to develop a marketing strategy, you'll need a marketing budget. There are two types of budgeting that directly conflict with one another. And that's zero-based budgeting and advertising to sales ratio budgeting. Of those two that really conflict, and yes, there's other ways to do this, but which of those two is best? It's a conundrum that leaves you feeling stuck, like you've been placed between the proverbial rock and a hard place. The left hand is really attracted to the focus that zero-based budgeting provides. You feel in control of what's going where. On the other hand, the right one, you understand that there's needs to be long-term incremental approach to brand building in order to create an organization that outlasts market shifts. Is that advertising to sales ratio budgeting? Not really. In this podcast, we're going to unpack the following approaches to budgeting for your marketing efforts. A zero-based budgeting approach, advertising to sales ratio budgeting approach, and that quote-unquote third way approach. Let's start with the focused approach. Zero-based budgeting for marketing budgets. Zero-based budgeting, if you need to know more about that, you can find it at the viralsolutions.net blog and other podcasts. But it's a method of budgeting that essentially prepares a budget from scratch every period. It's a way of budgeting that provides a detailed look at every penny spent. If you've ever tried to do this for your organization or even your household, you likely noticed a few things it does. It accounts for every dollar and ensures that money serves a purpose. You allocate your money to either expenses or savings. The goal is that your income minus your expenses equals zero by the month end. It helps identify where there is unnecessary spending. For example, how well do you stick to the list when you make those little trips to the grocery store? If not, ZBB, zero-based budgeting, will identify the spending behavior where those extra expenditures, which could be putting a strain on your finances, are being made. It keeps you focused as you track your money flow It brings your spending to the forefront of your mind, keeping you aware of what you have and don't have. It takes a lot of time. Holding yourself accountable takes work and time. Monitoring every dollar can cause chaos when it comes to variable expenses. It's difficult to use when accounting for unpredictable and irregular shifts in income and expenditures, because life can't always be predicted. Certainly it can be planned for, but there will always be fluctuations in your organization, your home, and the marketplace. Anyone can take this short list, expound on it, but we're going to look at it from an organization's perspective. In theory, ZBB seems logical and absolute. But there's a gray area in there somewhere that would provide a better way to set marketing budgets without a radical rethink of corporate expenditure. Historically, what's the alternative to zero-based budgeting? There is another approach, and the advertising to sales ratio that the majority of organizations and businesses set their marketing budgets to. Does it work? Kind of the arbitrary approach. Advertising to sales ratio budgeting for marketing. Those opposed to the budgeting approach that we just discussed might pause for a moment before picking up their axe to chop up the spreadsheets of the detailed expenditures from ZBB. Here's the typical process of advertising to sales ratio budget. The finance guy or executive analyzes the past few years' revenue, then calculates an annual growth rate, and the growth rate is then used to figure out the expected sales for the coming year. And then a percentage of the expected revenue is allocated to marketing. Now, let me ask you this. If you were sick, would you go to a mechanic to find out what you need to do to get healthy? I mean, after all, he knows how to get a car running. Why wouldn't he know how to get your body running smoothly? Of course not. That doesn't make any sense. So then why would you expect a finance executive who probably knows as much about marketing and brand building as that car mechanic knows about the human body to be placed in charge of developing a marketing budget that will help the organization grow based on the team's vision? Unfortunately, finance executives have a limited viewpoint, just as we all do with what lies outside of our expertise. There's a lethal problem to the advertising to sales ratio approach to budgeting. It dies before it gets started. It's an approach that sets up marketing budgets as a cost without an adequate expectation of impact. It works backward from an assumption. So how do you get unstuck? How do you go back to the rock and the hard place and find the third way out? Instead of being stuck between the rock and the hard place, ZBB And the hard place being that abstract assumed forecast of advertising to sales ratio. Let's find a way out. A third way to develop marketing budgets. Remember, you want to grow at a sustainable rate. To do that, there must be a plan that goes into consideration. The two approaches to budgeting. Strategically, here's how. Step 1. Review past performance, do some market research, and segmentation for all of your products and services and who you're after for a customer. Then break targeting into 2 sections. 1, brand building for the long haul. Focus on positioning and brand building objectives. This section will be about relating the objectives back to, say, if you're a nonprofit, the donor funnel stages. The annual objectives will be developed over a period of several years in order to reach the ultimate vision of your organization. Expect some return, but know that typically there is very little in the first year of execution. Section 2. Traditional segmentation, targeting, and positioning for the short term. Each segment needs distinction with product or mission-based positioning and SMART goals. Step 3. Bring it all together. Estimate the financial performance of your organization without any marketing efforts for the upcoming year. Then add all the financial estimates from each of the target segments that we just went through in incremental stages. As you start to think this way, you'll notice 2 things. It's absolutely critical to begin thinking this way regarding marketing budgets, and it's not easy to pull off. You're going to need to commit around 60% of your budget to brand building, those longer-term strategies and tactics, in order to build longevity and long-term sustainability. But to feed that 60%, you'll need to make certain that the short-term part of your plan delivers for the upcoming year. That's not easy. To get out from the rock and the hard place, your thinking has to shift from this way to that way to the third way, which truly embraces the quote-unquote and of it all. Because you can have the best of both worlds. If you want to talk further about marketing budgets, contact us at viralsolutions.net, check us out on social media, or call us at 888-816-1222. Our team would love to talk and help you discover how to get unstuck so you can move on to the next level. Because Viral Solutions, we're committed to seeing you succeed. The very reason we exist is to grow your business, double your revenue, by using proven marketing strategies that help you build your organization over the long haul. And the Viral Solutions podcast is where you can stay up to speed in the ever-changing world of marketing. Thank you for listening to the Viral Solutions podcast. and we hope you made it a great day.